Good afternoon, everybody. I think we're going to start because it's cold and I don't want to keep people out too late. We have things that we need to do. So I do appreciate your coming out today, and I also want to thank the Student Services folks for doing all the logistics and planning the event and making it a successful one for us. I also think it's very appropriate that we're having this event in the Garden of Peace and Unity. This is about unity in many ways, and I thought a lot about what I want to say today, so I've actually captured it in writing. So if you would indulge me a little bit and let me deliver the remarks the way I would like to, that would be much appreciated. So why are we here today? On the surface, it's about the increasing amount of violence that we've been experiencing in our country. Almost daily and weekly occurrences of violence, and they're fueled by bigotry and the fear of the other. The Pittsburgh synagogue shootings, the Kentucky Kroger grocery store shootings, Charleston, South Carolina church shootings. Today, there was a shooting in Ventura, California. And these are the most recent acts and the ones that receive national attention. We know that there is an increase in violence and destructive behaviors in every community, and many of them less publicly reported. Now, we can say that the people who are doing these acts are not well. They're mentally disturbed and unstable. This is certainly true, but these acts also are part of a much larger set of challenges, in my view. Much of this violence is fired up by public discourse and concerns over our differences and how inclusive our society can or should be as we make decisions about our future. In this national conversation, there is prejudice, racism, intolerance, and at best, narrow-mindedness. And most importantly, disrespect for individual, cultural, and ethnic identities. We are in an environment that encourages and stimulates fear and behaviors that are driven by bias that increasingly turns into hate. These things push us apart. They discourage honest discourse and inhibit our ability to listen. Rather than celebrating and appreciating what we bring to our community, the discourse diminishes who we are. It prevents us from finding common ground and deepening our understanding of each other and how we communicate openly and honestly about the issues of the day. It's a difficult environment to feel safe in. It's a difficult environment to know how to protect ourselves and our loved ones, and to address how we can change what we see happening around us. At USG, our values are clear, and we need to state them forcefully and frequently. We value diversity. We promote inclusion. We celebrate individual differences, and we respect each other as individuals for who we are and how we express and identify ourselves. We don't make value judgments about individual differences. We understand that our future is built on our shared values and our inclusiveness. We cherish and must nurture these values. We recognize that just saying this does not mean that people feel free to express themselves openly. We are here today to reinforce what we value as a community and to continue to dialogue about our special role and responsibilities as an educational institution. Each of our partner universities has expressed similar values and is providing opportunities on their campus to deal with the challenged social environment in which we find ourselves today. USG is no different. We are a community, an educational community. As such, we have a responsibility to ensure open discourse, to protect and provide a safe environment for students to learn, faculty to teach, and for all of us to engage in ways which encourage understanding. These responsibilities are shared by every member of our community. Today, we acknowledge these challenges more publicly and come together in fellowship and in common cause. We need to work together to ensure that our values are front and center on our campus. That we are deliberate and thoughtful about how we behave towards each other, and especially to members of our community who are experiencing more directly the impact of these challenges. In educating the future leaders and fully engaged members of our community, we work together to effect changes that enable our country and the larger community in which we live to move beyond these debilitating and very dangerous developments. Jonathan and Jonell will speak about these issues from their perspectives. I hope today provides energy to our discussions about these issues and becomes an integral part of our education mission on this campus. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today, and I'll turn the program over to Jonell. Thank you so much.
How's everyone doing today? The thing I have to say first is I'm numb. I'm very numb to these shootings. I think many people are. I remember the first time I saw on the news the first shooting that I could actually vividly remember was the Virginia Tech shooting. And the way many people felt about going to college and a lot of the students there and how they felt as a student and being protected at their school. I know, for instance, when I talked to many of my friends and I asked them, how do you feel about the shooting that happened in Pittsburgh? They said another one, and they don't even know. They don't even know what really even happened. A lot of them didn't even research or even look at the news or even look at the newspapers to actually understand what's really going on around them. They're so caught up on what's happening here in terms of what's happening with President Trump and multiple people around the country, the elections, school, so many things that are stressing them out. I know I talked to Robin the other day about anxiety, and it was one of the things I started talking to many people about in terms of how do you feel about what's going on in your community. And many people said they just don't understand what's going on anymore. They said it's so hard to truly grasp what's happening around them because everything's happening so fast. And when I take a step back and I look at everything, I say the one thing that I try and do and embrace people with is love. I think that's the one thing that we have to do for everyone is show love and sincerity in terms of how we approach each other and embrace each other. That's the one thing that I think many of us have forgotten. There's so much hate going around and so many things people saying left and right about how you look or the way you interact, your religion, what you believe in, what you eat, instead of actually embracing each other and saying, this is what you enjoy, and let me try it, let me understand, and let me see what I can do to actually accommodate you for who you are, and we can learn together as one through love. I know, for instance, luckily I was born and raised in Montgomery County, and many students are very happy and grateful to be in this community as one, because we have so many different cultures and religions and beliefs that we can actually truly understand and grow upon. I went to Montgomery Blair High School where luckily there were over 100 languages spoken at my school, which was a great opportunity for me as an individual because I could actually see and embrace everyone as one and not see each other as someone that other or someone that I hate or I look at them with disgrace or just hatred. I know especially now, especially with these past elections and the past years and what we've seen from our country, we never thought we would ever see this type of racism again. I remember I love studying history and seeing what happened to all the people that embraced the challenges and came through those, from civil rights, from World War II, and multiple different situations like that. But now seeing another undertone that has came about through hate speech and multiple different people actually embracing these hatred for our nation, which I feel like isn't the way to go. I know one thing that we can do as individuals, and one thing I try and talk to other students about, is just showing love. When people come to you and they talk about different issues where they may not agree with you, say for instance on immigration, the wall, or say for instance anything else that they may not agree with their political views, I try and ask people, why do you believe that? What makes you really believe these issues are so important? And have you ever taken into account people that are actually coming in and the reason why they're trying to immigrate here, why they're trying to do different things they are doing? Last but not least, I know Dr. Messing is in the crowd. I'm a professor for anthropology, and I've been learning about culture and language this semester. And one of the things she showed me was a picture with the rabbi and pastor from the two shootings, from the Charleston shooting and the Pittsburgh shooting, and they were hugging each other and embracing each other as one. And this really showed me that we all have it in us, love. And that's the one thing that I definitely want to get to you guys, is just to make sure that you show love for one another and you care for each other. No matter what happens in any situation, if someone's down, just give them a hug, talk to them. Let them know that you're there for them. That's the one thing I think we can do, even though there's other things that we can't control and they're out of our reach. That's the one thing that we can't control, and that is love. Thank you.
Thank you. First off, I'm glad everyone was able to come out today, and especially for Stu and Jonell to give their thoughts about what's been going on. I, not surprisingly, come from maybe a little bit of a different perspective, maybe a little more of a psychological perspective. I was trying to decide what I was going to write about. Really finally came to me this morning, and so hopefully it resonates. When I think about hate crimes and other acts of violence, I think about power. The quest for power, the need for power, and especially the need not to feel powerless. Some who engage in aggression already have power, but they feel like they don't have enough. For some, there may never be enough. Most of these aggressive acts, however, seem to come from people who have, or feel like they have, little power. They arm themselves to feel more powerful, then they act to show everyone else how powerful they really are. The problem is, perhaps ironically, that what most of them are really seeking is a sense of peace. Not necessarily peace in the world, but peace within themselves. The kind of peace that only comes from experiencing a true sense of personal power. A sense that you can handle whatever comes your way, and not needing or caring whether others know how powerful you are. I often talk to clients about their not needing to control the world or others around them, an impossible task anyway, but only to be in control of themselves and how they respond to the vagaries of life. When you feel strong enough to handle whatever comes your way, that brings a sense of peace and confidence. The enemy of unity is fear. Unity, I believe, is the result of joining with others who have the peace that comes with feelings one's personal power. Much of hate and violence is born of fear, and people may join groups that support or even engage in hate-filled acts of violence as a way to calm those fears, that they're not completely alone. These groups can provide a sense of meaning to one's life when it can't be found elsewhere. Fear is a warning sign that you're in danger, but if you feel capable of successfully dealing with life, there are few real dangers, perhaps just problems to be solved, or simply accepting what is without feeling like you need to do something to change it. Then there is no need for fear. To complete the circle, that sense of personal power and self-control comes from the feeling of inner peace. This is where the work, I believe, must truly begin. Two quotes I think sum up what I'm trying to say. The first by a wise Eastern philosopher and activist, Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." In other words, you need to get your own house in order and yourself to act in the ways that you want others to. The second quote by those noted Western philosophers of the last century, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, from the song Revolution goes, "You tell me it's the institution, well, you know, you better free your mind instead." It's commendable to take action toward creating a world But like a counselor who can't help a client become more psychologically healthy than they are, it's the responsibility of each of us to become the strongest, most confident, best person that we can be. After all, the only thing you can control is yourself. Thank you. For the final part of the program, it's not really an organized thing, but we do have some ribbons here, and so the idea is to take a ribbon, tie it onto the trellis, whatever color you like, and the whole idea is that then the visual will be a whole bunch of different colors showing that everyone may be different, but can come together in a sense of unity. So, as you wish, please take a ribbon and tie it. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out today. Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, on Tuesday the 29th, we're going to have a program called Speak Out USG. It's going to be a series of programs, but the first one is going to be basically on this topic of dealing with the violence and the division, the politics of division, and the difficulties that we're going through right now. It's going to be an hour and a half long from 4:30 to 6. You'll see more about that, but if you have the time, it would be great. We want to get as many people there and have as an open and honest conversation as we can. So, something to think about. Thank you.
I saw you out here, so yeah.